So, of course I do 5 million things at once. I am cleaning the barbecue, so there's a little bit of suds in there right now. But this is the area that, oh, there comes Callie. This is the area I'm currently working on, so I'm just basically ripping out all these plants. These plants were over there, and I just wanted to replant 3 on each side to make it look a little even. I already replanted them over there. Just for reference, this is what our landscaping currently looks like against these walls. It really does nothing for the house, so I wanted to try to come up with something that was minimal, that didn't require like a ton of attention, but also could be good for entertaining. I might add something to the walls depending on what this looks like when we're done. I'm just gonna clear this out and I'll check back with you guys in a bit.
For this, you will need at least 2 pots, concrete, soil, plants of your choice, C-hooks, string lights, stain or paint, again of your choice, and then I'm using some scrap wood to hold these garden posts in place. You can definitely use a 2x4 or a 4x4, but I use these garden posts because they're just a cheap alternative. They're only $3 each. I started by taping off the drainage hole on the bottom of my plants, that way the concrete didn't seep through when it was drying. Now you want to assemble this close to where you want to put it because it does get a little bit heavy. Go ahead and mix your concrete up and pour it to be a little over a quarter of the way full. I stuck my post in the middle of the pot into the wet cement, and then I kind of just secured it with some scrap wood that I had on hand, but you can use weights or branches or whatever. But then I went over it like a mad woman with tape to make sure that that post would not move while the concrete was curing. While that was drying, I went ahead and stained the post a deeper, like richer brown, just to liven them up a little bit. I let that sit overnight to dry, and then when I ripped the tape off, I just stained the areas that I couldn't reach before, and then I placed the pot where I wanted it before I started adding the plants to the top. I added some rocks for drainage, and then I chose to do a bunch of succulents in the pot, but you can do florals or even add a piece of wood to make it like a tabletop. I messed up and drilled my hole too big in the post for the C-hook, but I added some construction adhesive and I drilled those about 4 inches from the top and then just hung my string lights. I always hang them without the bulbs because 9 times out of 10 they end up falling and the bulbs end up shattering and breaking. So the light posts are done, but I'm going to show you some simple outdoor seating that you can do with cinder blocks. I didn't know the height which I wanted my benches to be, so I started with 2 cinder blocks on each side and turned them horizontally and added some concrete adhesive for them to stick together. I shimmied in some 4x4s that I cut down to 6 feet, but you can cut them down to whatever specific length you need. And then I stained them the same color as the post, just a little bit lighter, and ensured they were level with a level, obviously.
So not only did I need more rock, I needed this weed protector, and that I learned is what I needed to put down first before putting everything down, because you don't want to not line it, and the reason you want to line it is because you do not want weeds growing up through there. They're so hard to get rid of, but I'm gonna leave that because it's way harder to remove that and clean the rock and lay it back down than it is to just line this. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna line this, remove everything that I just put down, and then pour rock on top of it. I'm also gonna add another cinder block to each of these benches to raise it up a bit. So let's get started.
Now, obviously, you want to repeat that all the way throughout where you have the seating or the string lighting. And something that I love about this string lighting is that you can take those lights off and move the pots around so the light is mobile, if you will, which is a plus for me because we entertain a ton. Use the plant or filler that works best for you, and I realized that I forgot a succulent right over there, so I need to plant within there, and I am going to add that middle beam, but I will show you how I'm doing it on my Instagram, so be sure to be following me to check out how I'm making that addition since there is like a blocker in the middle. Now that I have this all decorated though, the wall looks so empty to me, so stay tuned for a jumbo wall art DIY for your backyard. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. I am super pumped to show you guys my backyard makeover process, hopefully on a budget. This little space right here was all under $200. I did own some of the items before, but like I always say, DIY with what you have first, then go ahead and buy. But stay tuned because I'll see you on Sunday with another DIY.